Just before you go to church, listen to this. Hi, my name is Mrs. 𝗟𝗏𝗦𝗃𝗧𝗏, and I welcome you into another episode of Life Unscripted. In Life Unscripted, I share with you how you can be able to become a student for life over academic session in order to achieve optimum and sustainable success. And in that light, we are building confident global champions. And these emerging leaders are taking the discipline of a pen and a paper to write and rewrite their script. And I hope you become one of them. So if it is your first time, hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to get a notification when the next content drops. And if it is your first time on Facebook, hit that follow button because that is one of the best decisions you're going to make in your life this year and beyond. And of course, I'm going to tell you why in this series. So now, most of the time we wait to be motivated to go to church. And, based on culture, people go to church to fulfill all righteousness. And that's why they are not maximizing church. And like my mentor, Dr. Gojuku, will always say, what you cannot define overwhelms you. What you can define, you modify. So one of the things I want to share with you is for you to understand the true concept of church so that you don't go there religiously, you go there intentionally. I'm telling you. So now, of course, you shouldn't be the only one here. Invite your friends that are about to go to church. All right. Now, I've come to realize that most of the times why we wait to be motivated to thank the Lord for what He has done, or wait for the priest to be able to do all the gra, all the choir to motivate so that you can come alive to thank God, is because you are not able to think for yourself. What do I mean by that? When you are at home, you don't count your blessings before coming. And so your intention is just to come to fulfill all righteousness. So while you sit down, maybe you wait for the choir to motivate you, or you wait for the priest or the pastor to motivate you before you stand up and really, really thank the Lord. Just imagine you have been asking God for a newborn baby, for instance, and then all of a sudden you took in and you saw that you got pregnant. The next day you are coming to church, you wouldn't wait for your priest, you wouldn't wait for your pastor, you wouldn't even wait for the choir. Because of what? You were able to sit down, think, and count the blessings that are in your life. And in that your blessings, you find reasons to actually thank the Lord. Now, what is church? Church, from the etymology standpoint of view, just the meaning of church is the community of believers. So a community, it doesn't have to happen in a building. Maybe it's not about Catholic, it's not about Anglican, it's not about Pentecostal, it's not about conventional churches, right? It's about people who believe, the community of people who believe in a thing. And if you read Acts of the Apostle, you will see that they prayed in one accord, and that's what makes them apostles. They came together in one accord that they can be able to pray, and they moved mountains because they believe in a thing, and because in that community they think and behave at the same way. That's one accord. So how about you? Anytime you go to church, because you lack intention, you will see community of people who believe in the God that you believe in, who believe the same thing that makes you think in a certain way. That's why there are sermons to actually feed your soul, so that that community, that conversation is being had, decisions are being made. So in the community of believers, what conversations are we having? We reference the Bible in order to know how to move in life. So you see, because we are having conversations about around the word of God, I can actually talk to you and you understand my language. But most of us don't maximize this particular space because they are seeing it as a culture that every Sunday I need to go to church and sit down, listen to the word of God, and then go home. One of the mistakes they make is because of that lack of intention, they don't take action based on the conversations that is being had. They just saw it as, oh, we are glorifying God and wah 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 wah, and then they will now go home. But then After you glorify God, one thing you have to ask yourself is what next? So you will now see that when people now come with intention, they are in the right attitude, they are in the right energy to absorb the next thing in their lives. So because they can see, because they are grateful, because they are coming from a point of gratitude, God is going to unravel different things. They are in that particular realm of abundance that they are seeing that all things work for good to those who serve the Lord. So the interpretation of the word is now going to come alive because it is already living in you. Because he said, and his word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Now, when you now say it, you know what it means because you have an experience of what that thing is. So, the second mistake people make is in that community of believers, how much do you network? Most people, because they don't have intention and because they have wrong concept of what church is, they follow it religiously without intention. And so because of that, when they now come, they don't see the need, they don't see the reason to connect with their fellow believers. That's why even when there is a whole lot, right, that is going on in this thing called church. That's why even the depressed, even the sinner that God came for cannot come to church, because most of the times now, people come to church to dress well. People come to church to see another person. For what? People just come to church to impress people instead of finding expression in a community where they come together to fan the flame because of their capacities. And so one of the things you need to learn is that don't just come to church and go home. Connect with one person. Find out what they can help you do. What are they doing? What are they doing? Because their belief system aligned, you will not struggle to be understood in that conversation. And so by the time you begin to do that, you will now be able to know the quality of the conversation that you do have each time that you go to church. And you will always be able to appreciate always going there, not just on Sundays, but you want to go there because you want to thank God. You want to go there because you want to connect with other believers and learn one or two things about spirituality, right? And so that's why when you go to church, you don't network with them. Rather, you form first class and then, carry your shoulders high. And even during Thanksgiving, you don't dance, you just walk straight. And then, all those kind of things. You're trying to show off when you should show up in the presence of God. That's how to worship Him, because you have come with gratitude. And secondly, you are there to be able to tap into the energy of other believers to improve the conversation beyond that building. So it's just like going for that conference, that business conference, going for every other networking event. Same thing happens in church. But right here, because they believe in the same God that you believe in, you want to actually penetrate into that circle, because conversation will not be hard when people believe in the same thing that you do. So how many people are you connecting with when you go to church? Are you intentionally coming to church based on gratitude to actually connect and tap into the energy of people who are grateful to God, that are also coming with intentionality to expand that which you are doing, and see how you can help a brother and sister lift them up because you are in the same community, because you have one voice, one heart. We have lost that thing because we don't really understand the ministry of men. So this is the time, just before you go to church, what are you grateful to God for? If you can write it down, that's amazing. Count your blessings so that you find reasons to actually glorify God and be in the right state to absorb the conversation that is going to come in. And then be open to take action based on the people who believe in the same thing, that is hearing the same word with you, to be able to find expression with that which you have been taught, with that conversation, so that you can actually make better decisions. That's what church is all about. It doesn't need to happen in a place where there is a cross. It just needs to be a conglomeration of believers. The moment they're having conversations and making decisions, that's a church. It's a school of thought. And so you need to be able to be a student of life to see from this particular lens beyond what your parents are. I was having a conversation with a lady, I think last Sunday. She was telling me that she stopped going to church. I told her, okay, why did you stop going to church? She said, because she doesn't just want to go to church because her parents, they have been traditionally going to church, but she's not seeing anything in her life. So she decided to step out to understand what the problem is. And she found out that she wasn't really growing her spirituality. And so she had to start listening to AJS, Femi Lazarus, and the rest of them to start growing her spirituality. And now she has spiritual empowerment. So I told her, how many people did you tell that you don't go to church? How did they make you feel when you tell them you don't go to church? He said, these they always make her feel bad. I said, no. The problem is that you go to church, but you don't know. You always go to church, but you don't know. A church is not a building. A church is not a structure. A church is not that place where you tie your scarf as a lady. A church is not that place you remove your cap as a man. A church is not that place where there is a choir. A church is not that place where there are religious people. A church is a conglomeration or community of believers. Those people who believe in God, those people who believe in the mercy of Him, those people who believe in the Word of God, because that's where the conversation lies. And so, because you understand this, you are always in the community of those believers. Whether you are joining online, you are doing whatever thing it is, whether you are sitting with among them, you have gone to church. And that's why, let me tell you the truth, the most wealthy people don't go to buildings, but they go to church. But you will judge them with the African mentality that they don't go to church. Go to developed countries, they don't have as much church as they don't have as much church buildings that we do have, but their lives are being improved and developed. You need to start asking questions. Okay, so because of that, you need to understand that you need to start connecting the dots, and you need to understand the dimension of connecting with community in the community of believers. And that's why basically, whether you lack the confidence, whether whatever the problem is, you have fears, you have doubts, it is all valid. But if it is not going to improve your outcome, then it is now time for you to embark on the journey with basic networking secrets. I am going to show you the mistakes that you have been making even as a believer in the area of connection. I am going to share with you. You are going to learn, right, how to deal with fear and shyness. Even as a believer, you're not meant to experience doubt. Even when you experience doubt, you can actually walk around it because you are in the community, right? So your ability to interact and connect will be dealt with every kind of fear, doubt, or shyness. And also, you are going to learn timeless relationship building blocks that helps you to maximize that community. And also, as a bonus, you learn how to build your confidence along the way, and how to be able to transfer this virtue of confidence into monetizing them to build more confidence in your skin, right? And so, also as a bonus, you have the opportunity of being part of a support group where you can consistently ask questions, because we believe that clarity is progressive. You don't get it figured out once. I'm not even promising you that all you need is just in this course. No, I don't do that. You get the basic information in this course, then when you take action, information now transits to knowledge, because you are now becoming that which you have studied, and over time you become learned because your outcomes are being improved. So that's why we create that support group, so that you can consistently, as you're taking action, you are asking questions to be guided. It's priceless, and it's a massive bonus that we give to persons who are going to take the opportunity with basic networking secrets. And I know that it's time for you to overcome that social anxiety and maximize your relationship for peak performance. So just before you go to church, have an intention. And one of the intentions is to actually to connect with community of believers, not community of people who go to a building, community of believers, people who believe in the kind of God you believe in. Because you can go to the same church building, but if the person you're having conversation with believe in the God of thunder and fire, and your own God you believe in is merciful and grace, there is no conversation. I'm telling you the truth. So understanding that believers are the people who think and act in the same way, that believe in the same kind of thing, and that's why they are called like minds. So I hope you are able to gain value from this session, and I can't wait for you to maximize that community in order to live your dreams and actually show results as a believer of Christ. Because let me tell you the truth, it is impossible to truly know God and be broke. It is impossible to truly know God and not have results. It is impossible. Ask Apostle Joshua Selman. He will tell you his story. Because he truly know God, it is not about going to that church building. Because he truly know God, look at his life. And you are going to get transformed by the result or the revelation of that particular research. All right? I still remain your friend. And you're going to get 𝗟𝗏𝗻𝗏, founder of the Confident Global Champions Network, Mrs. 𝗟𝗏𝗻𝗏. And until I come your way again in the next episode of Life Unscripted, don't forget, a life is unscripted. It only takes the discipline of your pen and a paper to write and rewrite your script, because there are defining moments and there are redefining moments. And of course, it is time to live the life you are proud of and not the one people recommend. With that, I will see you in the next